Well, I made it home last night. Last night late, 1:30. All the flights were delayed. The filly made a break, so it was kind of as you can imagine, a crappy night. Answering some messages and emails from people. What happened to Bomb Hugger? And when's her next race? What's going on with her? At the end of the day, she's a 2-year-old trotter, and she made a break. And one of our clients didn't want to race her at Yonkers, one of the people that owned Bomb Hugger. So that was an I told you so situation also. But the reality of the situation is, when you looked at where she could race and why she could race, there's no reason to go to Vernon, and there was a multitude of reasons to go to Yonkers. That's where the final is. And, when you look at what took place last night, it was surprising for me, surprising for everybody that she would make a break at the gate. A filly that navigated Batavia in New York, no problem. Navigated Saratoga, no problem. Tyoga, no problem. And then to make a break at Yonkers was kind of odd. So what was the takeaway from that? Some shoeing changes need to be made for her final at Yonkers. I don't think much in the way of equipment. Instead of a line pole, maybe a head pole on the left. But for the most part, just a few little shoeing tweaks. And as I said to everybody last night, if she hadn't have raced last night, I certainly would never have known. I would have no reason to believe, Batavia is a deep track, and she get over that track good. So what would be the reasoning for changing her shoes? The surface at Yonkers is a little bit like Mohawks, except a little more. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a little more loose. It doesn't grab a hold the same. So, when you look at the second division, 2 horses stayed trotting in the whole race. I was the only one that made a break in Bomb Hugger's race that I'm aware of. So, it wasn't like Yonkers was an easy track to navigate. So, nevertheless, Bomb Hugger made a break. We'll move on, learn from the experience, and race her in the final. I guess it's worth noting she wasn't sore after the race. There was no indications of any issues. Just made a little mistake, and in the last turn she got out of gear also. You could see it. So, pretty clear that what needs to happen is we just need to make a few little shoeing adjustments with Bomber, and she'll be ready to rock in the final. She still has that race in New Jersey, and then that will be it. I don't think there's any reason to rush her back, get her ready for Vernon when she's already punched her ticket. And in fact, unless I'm wrong, she's still the leader in the entire division. Andy Miller's filly has 2 wins, a second, and a 6th. We have 3 wins and a 6th. So in that regard, I'm certainly not concerned about Bomb Hugger. It's always frustrating, and this is the thing. It happens sometimes, We've been on such a great run, and then you wake up in the morning and you get an email from some clients wondering why the 2-year-old fillies are entered in fair races instead of the sire stakes. It's a valid question. I've touched on it lightly in a couple of videos, but I do so many videos, it would be easy for somebody to miss something like that. What happened with Bomb Hugger last night? These are answers that I have to give to people today. The 3-year-olds, why are 3-year-old fillies racing in the Buckeye? I thought we were going to race I'm a Lovely Lady in the last sire stake and try and make the consolation. You have My Jazz in the consolation, but you don't have I'm a Lovely Lady. These are all very valid questions, and it's my job to answer them. But at the same time, when you get them all at once in the morning, it makes for a rough morning. But that's the nature of the beast. You can't walk around floating on a high because you're having a great run and not expect there to be a flip side to that coin. So I thought the easiest way to combat it was every day. Listen, I can come on here every day and blow smoke up your ass and tell you everything is awesome and it's great and the world is perfect. But for every time that a horse wins a race, lots don't. For every client that had a great day, plenty don't. That's racing. That's what we love about the game, is the ability. Nobody wants to have a bad day. But those lows only make the highs that much better, I guess, is the real way to put it, right? We all love horse racing, but we know that there can't be good days without having bad days. So I thought, rather than just making wonderful videos every single day about how good this horse raced or that horse raced, we do have issues. So I'm going to tackle not as much issues as concerns. And I hear them. I woke up to people emailing me over the last 3 days saying, it's not fair that you do all these videos about the US, but we don't hear about Ontario anymore. We feel as if we're being neglected. Now that angers me a little bit, right? A little bit. When I read an email like that, my first response is I'm upset. Because you may feel neglected, but I can assure you, you're still part of the most informed stable on this planet, in this universe, most definitely. And further to that point, if I have neglected a horse, or if I've neglected a jurisdiction, or if I've neglected someone, you all have my phone number and my email. You can text me, you can email me, and they don't need to be, hey, we feel neglected. Hey, Anthony, what about this horse or that horse? I'm just wondering what's up. Because keep in mind, put yourself in my shoes. I'm not in Ontario right now. So any information I get from Ontario has to come from the source, right? I have to talk to Johnny. I have to talk to Harry. Sometimes that's not easy to do after a race. And when you're racing so many horses every day, and a horse races at 10 o'clock at night on a Monday, you're right. Sometimes I do forget to update Century Invictus, Almost There Boss, or Italian Grit. One of those horses that race on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Monday at night. Yeah, I may forget to update you guys. And I'm sorry, but with all the running around I am doing the best I can. I mean, I can't bring you 19 videos a day, and at the same time, I don't have time to write emails to everybody and every horse. So if you're out there and you feel neglected, if you feel that, hey, I'm just not getting the information that I believe I should have, you do have my phone number and you do have my email, and that's one thing I always have and always will do, will be respond to our clients and make sure that they understand that it is my job to make sure, and I'm well aware it is my job to make sure that you are all very informed about what is going on with your horses. So I'm going to start right there with Ontario. As I said to you guys a moment ago, I'm not in Ontario, so I am relying on information, and a very good point was brought to my attention today. You didn't really talk much about Almost There Boss. What happened to him? What's going on with him? Why is he not doing as good as he should? Well, I'll attack the first point. He's not doing as good as you believe he should. That doesn't mean he's not doing good. The horse was second in 54, pace 55, and yes, he didn't look as good as Century Invictus. But that's not his fault. It's not your fault. That's horse racing. And so the next question would be, what happened with him? What's going on with him? Well, you're all right, partially. Partially, as I said, a lot of what goes on in our barn in a negative manner is built around expectations. What expectations you have for each horse, and I have for each horse. I keep telling you, a horse like Voyage of Ice and Fire broke my heart this year. Thought he was our horse. He was the stable's Ohio flag bearer. Certainly not. It's upsetting. It's frustrating. It's angering. But it's horse racing. So, a little bit different in the sense that Almost There Boss, I've mentioned it in a couple of videos that he has a couple of OCDs that were in places I thought were operable. The surgeon and the veterinarian collaborated back in the spring and said, I wouldn't take those out, Anthony. I don't think they're going to be a problem. I believe they are a problem. I believe they've been a problem. I believe they're a source of frustration for the horse. Now, again, some horses push through, right? Slim Jimmy has an OCD in his left hind ankle. So does Almost There Boss. They go about racing with it two very, very different ways and approach it in two very, very different ways. So what's the best thing for Almost There Boss? Pretty simple, right? He's on the right line, but he's over on the left shaft. Two different issues that are bothering him. Sorry, right line, right shaft. Should be right line, left shaft. So, or at least right line and straighten the shaft. He's the other way. So that left hind ankle, I think that OCD is bothering him. And the right front, I'm going to say he's a big, heavy horse. His knees are probably bothering him. Probably a good idea to maybe shut him down and take the OCDs out. Now, I would have conveyed that, but I don't have an appointment to take the OCDs out. I didn't, at least until today. So, I think the best thing to do would be get the appointment, which I now have, and we'll have the OCDs removed from Almost There Boss. He'll have 3 weeks in the stall, and then he'll be turned out for 2.5 months or so. And we want to be able to Give him all the tools he has. You know, in hindsight, and I hate this hindsight tool. Everybody has it, and it's not unique to anybody. Everybody can use hindsight. Looking back on this, I can say, well, the vets were wrong. We should have taken those OCDs out. Yep. But I'm going to defer to the medical advice of medical professionals first and foremost. He's a big colt. He got running in, he got running out, he got on the line, he got a little sore. That's not unlike many 2-year-olds, lots that we've stopped with. And we are going to stop with Almost There Boss. So he's not racing anymore this year. We're going to take the OCDs out of his hind ankles, let him rest up a bit, grow up, and see what we have as a sophomore. Arches Rainbow, I talked to you guys about this. You know, at first